Well, 3 Israeli hostages, Romy Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher and Emily Damari, have finally reunited with their families after being released from captivity in Gaza on Sunday. It was an emotional and heartwarming reunion as the hostages were in tears and were tightly embraced by the smiling loved ones upon their arrival. Damari, who had lost 2 fingers when she was shot the day she was abducted, could be seen smiling and embracing her mother as she held up a bandaged hand. Elsewhere in Tel Aviv, hundreds of Israelis cheered outside the defense headquarters as they watched a live broadcast from Gaza showing hostages' release on a giant screen, part of the ceasefire deal.
It's a beautiful day. After so long, we got a beautiful day. There is 3 hostages, young hostages, returning home.
I'm super excited. This is the first time we've seen her since that day, October 7th, and we didn't had any signal for life from her for a whole year now. And this is the first time we're seeing her, and we're seeing her walking on her 2 feet, and we're just waiting here to hug her and say how much we love her.
It was very stressful days, not knowing if she's going to be on the list or not, and now seeing her and see that she can walk, yeah, it's a really big relief.
Well, Professor Itai Pisach, the director of Safra Children's Hospital, informed that all 3 hostages were in stable condition and were reunited with their families. He, however, added that medical examinations would take a number of days.
I'm happy to report that they are in stable condition. That allows us and them to focus on what is the most important thing for now, is reuniting with their families. They are reunited with their families, and we will continue to monitor their clinical condition. This will take a few more days until we complete all the examinations that are needed and treat whatever we find within these within the workup that we will perform.
Well, hailing the release of Israeli hostages in exchange of Palestinian as part of the Israel-Hamas truce deal, U.S. President Joe Biden claimed he put his highest efforts and weight behind the deal.
Today's ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages is a result of a principled and effective policy that we presided over for months. And we got here without a wider war in the Middle East than many predicted. And now it falls on the next administration to help implement this deal. I was pleased to have our team speak as one voice in the final days. It was both necessary and effective and unprecedented.
And for more, we have Amit Mukherjee joining us. Well, Amit, as we know, with the 6-week first phase of the truce, Hamas is expected to release 33 captives and Israel is slated to free about 1,900 Palestinians. What's behind this uneven exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners?
Well, Lipakshi, a lot of people are calling it uneven and it's lopsided. And a lot of people in Israel itself are saying that it's not a very even sort of exchange that is happening right now. But if you look at the history of it, it has always been like this. And of course, there is another way of looking at it, that Israeli lives are more valuable than Palestinians, because for every single Israeli hostage that is being released, there are 30 Palestinian prisoners who were in various jails in Israel are being released. Now, if you look at what had happened in 2006 also, there's this Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit. He was captured during a cross-border sort of a patrolling and, raid, against whom in 2011, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners were released, which also included Yahya Sinwar, who went on to become the head of Hamas organization, and he was also the mastermind who was involved in kind of orchestrating the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, during which all these 250 hostages were taken captive and taken away to Gaza. So, in a way, Hamas is is well aware of the dynamics of the exchange of prisoners and hostages that happen, and which is why their objective on October 7, 2023 was to take as many Israelis as possible, because the more Israelis they take, the more Palestinians they would be able to free. And which we saw, of course, at the end of the day, I mean, despite both the parties had to pay heavy prices, whether it's Israel or Palestinians living in Gaza.
Right.
We saw what happened in the West Bank and Gaza. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's the exchange that's happening, and it's well within, what has been happening in the past.
Right.
So even if it is unequal, or, it's not, as apple
All right.
to apple.
All right,
Yes.
Amit, if we talk about the present situation, very quickly, if you could tell us, though Israel said their forces had begun to withdraw from parts of Gaza, Hamas signaled that it was moving to reassert control on the territory, as there is news that masked gunmen took to the streets in cities devastated by war. An extremely fragile situation there, as the big question still remains, who takes over power in Gaza?
Well, Lipakshi, if you look at the whole deal, it's not the end to the conflict that has been going on. It's a temporary ceasefire, as we have all heard from various parties. So, and this entire exchange is going to happen over a period of 6 weeks or 42 days, where, of course, the 33 hostages who are still who have been captured on October 7th are expected to be released, while Israel is again saying that there are about 94, which includes dead as well as live hostages, who are still in, minus the 3, of course, who were released yesterday.
Yes.
So 91 net, number of hostages, whether it's bodies or live, they are still in captivity. So after these 33, these hostages are released, which of course over 6 weeks. So Israel will constantly be monitoring the situation. They will be talking to the hostages released. So they will try and gauge the situation. And, as we see that since it's a temporary ceasefire, a pause can be put on it anytime. And Israel, if they are not satisfied with the way things are going, I mean, they would get back at it,
right.
If they think it's not a sort of an even exchange that's happening.
Right. Thank you so much, Amit, for all those details.